Okay, so for recurring work orders, you can find them in two ways: under operations management, work orders, recurring work orders. But if you want to set up a new one and you want to just right away go into that, you can go to work orders and click on recurring work orders. And this is going to take you into a new recurring work order screen. So for here, we would just give a description of this work order. And let's say we're going to be doing for disinfecting. We're going to say disinfecting services, let's say. You would pick a location. So I'm going to do this at the north building. I can also search, so I can type in north or whatever to try to narrow down my search. So I'm going to choose this one. I can look for the contact name. I'm going to put myself in here as the contact. I'll put myself as the salesperson as well. So it's the same thing, just select who you're looking for. If you have a PO number, you can input it here. You can put more of a work description of what's going to be done. So let's just say we want to disinfect all rooms throughout building, just as an example. So you kind of give a description of what needs to be done, and this will show up on the work order. And then we select the type of service. So I'm looking for disinfect. So I can only type, I only have to type in a few letters. I can click search, and here I'm going to choose disinfecting services. And it's a fixed rate for this one. So this is how you do a pricing. If you have a billable, if this is a billable work order, this is where you make it billable. If it's not billable, then you can just put in a quantity of 1 and a rate of 0, and that makes it 0. If you want to bill it, you can bill it a couple different ways, but it's the quantity times the rate. So if you want to do, for example, square feet, and you're going to say, we're disinfecting 1,000 square feet, and we charge, let's say, $10 a square foot, it's going to be $10,000. You can charge, let's say, labor hours. We're going to use 2 people at 8 hours for a full day. That's 16 hours. We charge $50 an hour, or $60 an hour I put in. That's 960. Or I can just put in a quantity of 1, and let's say we're going to charge $500. And here's our price now, 500. So however you determine the price, this is how you calculate it. The overhead, you can probably ignore it. It's a way to usually mark it up, either for tax or something, but usually not needed. The floor, if you want to designate a specific floor that needs to be done or a specific space, you can put that in here. So, for example, this floor 1, and it's the conference room. You can enter that in here. I'm going to remove it, though, for this example. So after the basic information set up, now you're going to schedule it. So for disinfecting services, we're going to do it every week. So I choose all the weeks. And let's say we're going to do it on Wednesdays. And we're going to do it, let's say, every month of the year. You just click on all the months. Unfortunately, you have to click on them all if you want them all. And then the work order start date. So it's important that, because we're setting this up and we're going to do it on a Wednesday, that on the 1st of the month in August, which is when this would start, we have to set it up on the 5th because that's the first Wednesday. So just make sure you choose the right day. If you're using a subcontractor, you could put the payout amount. So let's say we're splitting this with the subcontractor. I put in $250. And we would pay out for the subcontractor that amount. And then the assign type is, I would choose the subcontractor, for example. I can choose from a list. I could choose an employee to assign this to. And let's just say I'm going to assign it to myself. And active is important because it's showing us that this is an active recurring work order. if you didn't want this to be active anymore, you didn't want to do that service, you can just come in here and click off active. We won't allow you to delete the service just because a lot of times people will turn off the service for maybe a month or a couple months, and then they want to reactivate it. So we keep everything, and you kind of turn it on and turn it off by using this active. So I hope that's clear. But once you're done, you click OK. One important thing to remember here is that it says, we will create your recurring work orders 4 days before the due date. So in this case, it was August 5th. So on August 1st, it's going to create the work order. And because I'm the employee that's assigned, it's going to assign it to me, and I'll get the work order in my schedule. Okay, so I click OK. And that's how we set up the recurring work orders. Let me go into the recurring work order grid, and you can see that I set up disinfecting services, disinfect all rooms throughout the building. It's $500. It's active. And so here's all the recurring work order schedule that we have going on. So if you're in here and you want to filter, let's say I only want to see the north building, and I only want to see the ones where, let's say, actually, let's look at the disinfecting services. So I filtered down. So for the north building, we've got 2 different disinfecting services going on. And I want to kick this out to a report. So I just click report, and I could create a PDF document. I can create a spreadsheet. So if I create the PDF document, this is what it's going to look like. So you could use this for, internal purposes. You could share this with your customer, whatever you needed to do. You could also kick out a spreadsheet, and it's not as pretty, but this allows you to manipulate using Excel all the different fields. In this case, it doesn't look too bad. So we just give you a raw file, and then you can add your logo or whatever you want to do to it. Okay. So let me click off the filter, and it's going to give me the whole list again. So just some other examples of other types of work orders that you can set up is, for example, I like to use this one, which is the inspection reminder. So every month or whatever it is, every month, every quarter, every week, at this location, somebody should be going in there and doing an inspection. So we're going to set up a recurring work order to remind them that this inspection needs to be done. So you could do that. You could, for example, weekly appliance cleaning is very popular with our customers, or appliance cleaning, for example, microwave cleaning or refrigerator cleaning or bathroom cleaning. You can set up those recurring jobs. Floor work is very common, strip and wax, those types of services, of course. So I hope that's clear on how you filter and how you can find any of these services, and how you can create a new one and kick out some reports. So if you wanted to, I'm just kind of looking at our schedule. If you wanted to make changes to an existing schedule, let's say I wanted to go into this one, and I didn't want to do this every month. I'm going to click edit, and I'm going to do it every other month. I think that's every other month. So I would just edit the schedule, and I'm going to switch it from Mondays, and now we're going to do it on Fridays instead. And I'm going to click OK. And then now that new schedule will be created based on what we just edited it to. So that's how you make changes to an existing schedule. So if anything's not right with your work orders, maybe you let your administrator know, and they can make these kind of changes in there. Or you can do it yourself, of course. So I'm going to show you what the work orders look like. So I go into operations management, work orders, and then what we call work order sales. So this is going to show me all the work orders that we have for our system. So I'm going to start filtering. I want to see ACC North Building, and what am I looking for? I'm on a little bit smaller screen, and then the work order type is recurring. So I'm going to look at all my recurring. So these are all the work orders that have been created for the recurring services. So this is the one that was created for the new service that I have coming up. But these are all, previous work orders that have been created according to my schedules. Okay, so I might now want to say, I'm looking just for a certain type of work order or whatever it may be. Disinfecting services again. And there should only be a couple of those. Yeah, so these are just the two that have been created. So I'll turn that filter off by just clicking the line. And it's going to give me my full schedule here. And then I can also filter by name. So I want to see which ones have been assigned to Bob. So I just click on Bob's name. He's only got one. I'll turn Bob off. I filter by my name. I think I know what's going to happen is that I have a lot of them. So that narrows it down a little bit. But now I'm ready to kick out a report. So I click PDF, and it's going to create that report. So here's sort of all the work orders that I have, and I have a lot just because this is our test and demo database. So hopefully you would never have that many. So hopefully, again, that's clear on filtering and how to get sort of a work order schedule. You can get a work order schedule by building or person or type. So I think the next part is, so after all of these are set up, all of these work orders are created, the most important thing is getting the work done out in the field. So I'm going to now switch over, and I have my phone in my hand. I'm going to turn that on, and I'm going to show that on the screen. So that's just going to take a moment for that to start up. So I think you should be able to see it on my screen now. So what I'll do is I'll just turn on my app, go to Accord, and when I go into Accord, the first thing I'm seeing is something called My Work Assignments. So these are the buildings where I have active work orders. I'm going to come back to that in a second. If I click on the menu, I have something called the dashboard, My Work Assignments, which is what I just looked at, and then Find Service Location. So I could search by a service location by just clicking on this and then typing in the name, and it will pull up that location. Let me click on the dashboard and show you what that looks like. So in the dashboard, it shows that I have 13 work orders to do. I have no deficiency work orders, and then no new client notes have been sent to me. By just clicking on open work orders, I'm kind of getting my work order schedule here. So I have a couple that have been past due, and then I have a few that are in the future still to be done. So there's my 13 work orders. I could toggle on close the work orders from here if I want to, and I can just tap them, and then that work order gets closed. So it's just that simple. I just tap and close. If you want to put any information in there, comments or pictures or anything, you maybe would want to close them out in a different way, which I'll show you later. But when I go back to my dashboard, since I closed out 2, I only have 11 left. So let me go into My Work Assignments. And I'm going to choose the North Building because this is where I was. And I see that I can do other functions because I'm a manager. So I can create a quote. I can, of course, look at my work orders. I can do my inspections or look at inspections, any deficiencies that are assigned to me, equipment and supplies. But for this case, we're focusing on work orders. So I click on work orders. Of course, I could create a new work order, or I want to look at the existing ones. So I have 3 work orders for this North Building. Vacuum all the carpets, disinfecting, and then the disinfecting all the rooms, which is the one I created today. So let's go ahead and click into one of those, and I can get the details. I could accept this work order. It's very rarely used, but you have that option. Or I can click on completed. Once I click on completed, I can change the date because I say, you know, no, I didn't do this today. Actually, I finished it yesterday. And you could put the hours in, not necessary. I could put comments. Let's just say we had no problems with this work order. You could sign it if you guys want to get a signature. And I can click on pictures. And I can take before pictures of this work order. Or I can just toggle it over. And I can take after pictures. So I can either take photos or I can select existing photos. I'm not going to do that just for time's sake, but I think you get the idea. So when I click submit, I'm completing this work order. So now when I go back, I only have these two. So I can also toggle on close multiple work orders. For this one, I didn't have any comments or pictures. I can just click it and it goes away. And then now when I go back, I'm gonna wait and do this work order later because it's not due until August 5th. So I'm good with that. I go back, I'm gonna go to my next building. So now I go into TSG main. I click on work orders. I open up my work orders and here we go. Here's a list of work orders for this building. So I could close those, I could enter those, I could choose to just ignore those. So I think I've covered everything on my agenda. So if you did have any questions, you can certainly feel free to ask. I did want to show you just one more thing. So as I'm switching over, let me know if you had any questions. Just remember to take yourself off mute. So the last thing is that I've created a lot of user guides. So actually, let me show you. If you go back to home, make sure I'm sharing this screen. Okay. And under the Welcome Center, which we'll probably rename to training, if you click on Welcome Center, you'll be taken to this page. And we have some videos and a lot of user guides here. So if you click on it, you can download the PDF. So you'll see here are recurring work orders. But I also have a lot for like checklist and compliance, which is a lot for this disinfecting services that we have. A lot of our features are in here, as well as we do have a couple in Spanish available now. So I just finished a lot of these recently, and our Spanish team is working on those. So we have inspections and recurring work orders in Spanish now. Okay, so if you did have any questions, you can refer back to that page, or you can certainly ask me. So did anybody have any questions? Oops. If not, that's fine. I'm going to end the training here. If you didn't have any questions, or if you want training on anything, even on a one-to-one training, you can just reach out to me individually, and we can set up a time to go over this or anything else. But I also will be sending out, hopefully in just a couple of weeks, future trainings to cover many different types of topics. So with that, if there are no questions, I'll go ahead and end the training. Thanks for attending, and we'll talk to you soon. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Mike, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, have a good one.
Great. You too. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.